everyone. Welcome to Learn English with Podcast. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Tony. We're so happy you're here with us today.
Yes, we have a fun and interesting topic for you today. We're going to talk about holidays and festivals from around the world.
That's right, Nikki. We'll share some of our own experiences, and then we'll hear from some special guests who will tell us their stories about different holidays and festivals.
So, let's get started. Tony, can you tell us about a holiday or festival that you really like?
Sure, Nikki. One of my favorite holidays is St. Patrick's Day. It's an Irish holiday, but people celebrate it all around the world. Everyone wears green, and there are parades and music. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. Have you ever been to a St. Patrick's Day parade?
Yes, I have. Last year, I went to one in New York City. There were bagpipes, dancers, and lots of green everywhere. It was really exciting.
That sounds amazing, Tony. I've always wanted to go to a St. Patrick's Day parade. One of my favorite festivals is Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. It's a Mexican holiday where people remember and honor their loved ones who have passed away.
Wow, Nikki, that sounds very special. How do people celebrate it?
People create altars with photos, candles, and the favorite foods of the deceased. They also make sugar skulls and marigold decorations. It's a beautiful and colorful celebration.
That sounds really interesting. I'd love to see a Day of the Dead celebration one day. Another festival I enjoy is the Holi festival from India. It's also called the Festival of Colors.
Oh, Holi is so fun! People throw colored powder and water at each other, and everyone gets covered in bright colors. Have you ever celebrated Holi, Tony?
Yes, I did once. It was amazing. There was music, dancing, and so many happy people. It's a great way to welcome the spring season.
That sounds like a blast, Tony. Another interesting holiday is the Japanese festival, Hanami. It's the cherry blossom festival where people have picnics under blooming cherry trees. It's so beautiful, peaceful.
I've seen pictures of that. The cherry blossoms look incredible. Have you ever been to Japan for Hanami?
Yes, I have. It was such a lovely experience. Everyone was enjoying the beauty of the cherry blossoms and spending time with family and friends.
That sounds wonderful, Nikki. Festivals and holidays are a great way to learn about different cultures and have fun at the same time.
Absolutely, Tony. And it's also a great way to practice your English. Talking about your experiences and learning new words can really help improve your language skill.
That's right, Nikki. Speaking of new words, let's learn some new vocabulary related to holidays and festivals. What do you think?
Great idea, Tony. How about we start with the word parade?
Perfect. A parade is a public celebration where people walk or march together in a line, often with music, costumes, and decorations. For example, the St. Patrick's Day parade has bagpipes and dancers.
Another word is altar. An altar is a special table or area where people put things to honor someone, like during the Day of the Dead.
Good one, Nikki. Let's also talk about the word blossom. A blossom is a flower, especially one that grows on a tree. The cherry blossoms during Hanami are a perfect example.
And lastly, let's learn the word celebration. A celebration is a special event where people do something fun or important together. For example, Holi is a celebration with colors and dancing.
Great vocabulary, Nikki. Now, let's move on to hearing from our guests. They have some interesting stories to share about holidays and festivals.
Yes, I'm excited to hear their experiences. Let's welcome our first guest. Hi there, can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Hi, my name is Priya, and I'm from India.
Hi, Priya. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we're talking about holidays and festivals. Can you tell us about a festival that you celebrate?
Sure. One of my favorite festivals is Diwali, also known as the Festival of Lights. It's a very special time in India, and it's celebrated by millions of people.
That sounds wonderful, Priya. What do you do during Diwali?
During Diwali, we light small oil lamps called diyas and place them all around our homes. We also decorate our houses with colorful rangoli patterns made from colored powder or flower petals.
Wow, that sounds beautiful. Do you have any special foods during Diwali?
Yes, we have many delicious sweets and snacks. Some of my favorites are laddus, jalebis, and samosas. We also have big family dinners with lots of different dishes.
Yum, that sounds delicious. Is there anything else you do during Diwali?
Yes, we also burst fireworks and firecrackers. It's very noisy and fun. We exchange gifts with friends and family, and we also pray to the goddess Lakshmi for wealth and prosperity.
That sounds like a lot of fun, Priya. Do you have a favorite Diwali memory?
Yes. One year, my family and I made a huge rangoli together. It took us hours, but it was so beautiful. We were all very proud of it.
That's a lovely memory, Priya. Thank you for sharing your Diwali experience with us.
Yes. Thank you, Priya. It's always great to learn about different festivals from around the world.
Thank you for having me. It was nice talking to you both.
Now, let's talk about some of the new words and phrases we learned from Priya's story. One word is diya. A diya is a small oil lamp used during Diwali. People place diyas around their homes to bring light and happiness.
Another word is rangoli. Rangoli is a decorative pattern made on the floor using colored powders or flower petals. It's a traditional art form during Diwali.
Good one, Tony. We also learned the word prosperity. Prosperity means having wealth, success, or good fortune. During Diwali, people pray to the goddess Lakshmi for prosperity.
And lastly, we learned the phrase burst fireworks. To burst fireworks means to set off fireworks making bright lights and loud noises. It's a big part of Diwali celebrations.
Great vocabulary, Tony. Now, let's move on to our next guest. Let's welcome our next guest. Hi there. Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Hi, my name is Carlos, and I'm from Brazil.
Hi, Carlos. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we're talking about holidays and festivals. Can you tell us about a festival that you celebrate in Brazil?
Of course, one of the biggest and most famous festivals in Brazil is Carnival. It's a huge celebration that happens every year before Lent.
Carnival sounds exciting. Can you tell us more about what happens during Carnival?
Sure, there are parades with samba dancers, amazing costumes, and lots of music. People dance in the streets and have a great time. Each city has its own way of celebrating, but Rio de Janeiro's Carnival is the most famous.
That sounds incredible. Have you been to the Carnival in Rio de Janeiro?
Yes, I have. It was one of the best experiences of my life. The energy, the colors, and the music were all amazing. Everyone was dancing and having fun.
That sounds like so much fun, Carlos. What kind of costumes do people wear?
People wear very colorful and elaborate costumes. Some costumes have feathers, sequins, and even lights. Each samba school has a theme, and their costumes match the theme.
Wow, that sounds spectacular. Is there any special food that people eat during Carnival?
Yes, there is. Street vendors sell all kinds of delicious snacks, like coxinhas, which are chicken croquettes, and pastel, which is a kind of fried pastry filled with cheese or meat.
Yum, that sounds delicious. Do you have any favorite Carnival memories?
Yes, one year I got to dance in one of the samba parades. It was an amazing experience. I wore a beautiful costume, and it felt great to be part of the celebration.
That sounds incredible, Carlos. Thank you for sharing your Carnival experience with us.
Thank you for having me. It was great to share my story.
Now, let's talk about some of the new words and phrases we learned from Carlos's story. One word is samba. Samba is a type of Brazilian music and dance that is very popular during Carnival.
Another word is costume. A costume is a special set of clothes people wear to look like someone or something else, especially during festivals and celebrations.
Good one, Tony. We also learned the word sequins. A sequins is a small, shiny metal or plastic disc sewn on clothes for decoration. For example, the dress sparkled with sequins.
And lastly, we learned the word vendor. A vendor is a person who sells things, especially food or goods, in a public place. During Carnival, street vendors sell delicious snacks like coxinhas and pastels.
Great vocabulary, Tony. Now, let's move on to our next guest. Let's welcome our next guest. Hi there. Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Hi, my name is Yuki, and I'm from Japan.
Hi, Yuki. Welcome to the podcast. Today we're talking about holidays and festivals. Can you tell us about a festival that you celebrate in Japan?
Sure. One of my favorite festivals is Tanabata, also known as the Star Festival. It's celebrated on the 7th of July every year.
Tanabata sounds interesting. What is the story behind this festival?
Tanabata is based on a legend about two stars, Orihime and Hikoboshi. They are lovers who can only meet once a year on the 7th of July. It's a very romantic story.
That's a beautiful story. How do people celebrate Tanabata?
People write their wishes on small pieces of paper called tanzaku and hang them on bamboo branches. The streets are decorated with colorful streamers and lanterns. There are also parades and fireworks.
That sounds lovely, Yuki. Have you ever made a wish for Tanabata?
Yes, I have. Every year I write my wish on a tanzaku and hang it on the bamboo tree in my garden. It's a special tradition for me and my family.
That sounds wonderful. What kind of wishes do people usually make?
People make all kinds of wishes. Some wish for good health, others for success in their studies or work. Children often wish for things like new toys or adventures.
That's so sweet. Is there any special food that people eat during Tanabata?
Yes. We have special foods like somen noodles, which are thin, white noodles served cold. They symbolize the Milky Way, which separates the two stars, Orihime and Hikoboshi.
Yum, that sounds delicious. Do you have a favorite Tanabata memory?
Yes. One year, my family and I visited a big Tanabata festival in Sendai. The decorations were amazing, and there were so many fun activities. We even got to watch a beautiful fireworks show.
That sounds like a fantastic experience, Yuki. Thank you for sharing your Tanabata story with us.
Thank you for having me. It was great to talk about Tanabata.
Now, let's talk about some of the new words and phrases we learned from Yuki's story. One word is tanzaku. Tanzaku are small pieces of paper where people write their wishes during Tanabata.
Another word is bamboo. Bamboo is a type of tall, green plant with hollow stems. People hang tanzaku on bamboo branches during Tanabata.
Good one, Nikki. We also learned the word streamer. A streamer is a long, narrow piece of colored paper or fabric used for decoration. The streets are decorated with streamers during Tanabata.
And lastly, we learned the word noodle. A noodle is a long, thin strip of dough, usually boiled and served in soups or with sauces. Somen noodles are a special food eaten during Tanabata.
Great vocabulary, Nikki. Now, let's move on to our next guest.
Let's welcome our next guest. Hi there, can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Hi, my name is May and I'm from China.
Hi, May. Welcome to the podcast. Today we're talking about holidays and festivals. Can you tell us about a festival that you celebrate in China?
Of course, one of my favorite festivals is the Mid-Autumn Festival. It's also known as the Moon Festival, and it's celebrated on the 15th day of the 8th lunar month.
The Mid-Autumn Festival sounds fascinating. What is the story behind this festival?
The festival is based on the legend of Chang, the moon goddess. People celebrate the harvest and give thanks for the bounty of the season. It's a time for family reunions and looking at the beautiful full moon.
That's a lovely story. How do people celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival?
People gather with their families for a big dinner. We also eat mooncakes, which are round pastries filled with sweet or savory fillings. After dinner, we go outside to admire the full moon and light lanterns.
That sounds wonderful, May. Have you ever made your own lanterns?
Yes, I have. When I was a child, my family and I made paper lanterns together. We would light them and hang them in our garden. It was a magical experience.
That sounds amazing. What other activities do people do during the festival?
Some people perform traditional dragon and lion dances. There are also moon-gazing parties where people recite poems and sing songs about the moon. It's a very festive time.
That sounds so fun. Is there any special meaning behind the mooncakes?
Yes, mooncakes symbolize unity and completeness. The round shape represents the full moon and family reunion. They are a very important part of the festival.
Yum, I've heard mooncakes are delicious. Do you have a favorite Mid-Autumn Festival memory?
Yes, One year, my family and I went to a lantern festival in the countryside. The sky was filled with colorful lanterns, and we had a wonderful time eating mooncakes and watching the full moon together.
That sounds like a beautiful experience, May. Thank you for sharing your Mid-Autumn Festival story with us.
Thank you for having me. It was great to talk about the festival.
Now, let's talk about some of the new words and phrases we learned from Mi's story. One word is mooncake. A mooncake is a round pastry eaten during the Mid-Autumn Festival. It can be filled with sweet or savory ingredients.
Another word is lantern. A lantern is a light source with a cover, often used during festivals. People light lanterns and hang them up during the Mid-Autumn Festival.
Good one, Nikki. We also learned the word harvest. Harvest is the time when crops are gathered from the fields. The Mid-Autumn Festival is a time to celebrate the harvest.
And lastly, we learned the word reunion. A reunion is when people come together again after being apart. The Mid-Autumn Festival is a time for family reunions.
Great vocabulary, Nikki. Now, let's wrap up our discussion on holidays and festivals.
We've heard some amazing stories about holidays and festivals from around the world today. From the colorful celebrations of Diwali and Carnival, to the peaceful traditions of Tanabata, and the family reunions of the Mid-Autumn Festival. It's clear that festivals bring people together and create beautiful memories.
That's right, Nikki. Learning about these different holidays not only helps us understand other cultures but also gives us new words and phrases to practice. Remember, the more you use new vocabulary, the more it becomes a part of your everyday English.
Speaking of vocabulary, let's quickly review some of the new words we learned today. From Priya's story, we learned dia and rangoli. From Carlos, we learned samba and costume. From Yuki, we learned tanzaku and bamboo. And from May, we learned mooncake and lantern.
That's a great recap, Nikki. We hope you enjoyed learning about these festivals as much as we did. Remember to practice these new words and try to use them in your conversations.
Yes, practice makes perfect. And don't forget to listen to our podcast every day. Each episode is a new opportunity to improve your English skills.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, give us a like, and share it with your friends. Your support helps us create more great content for you.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Learn English with Podcast. Keep practicing and have fun learning.
Bye for now, and happy learning.
Bye, everyone.